Thursday, June 29th, 2023 meeting of the Vicksburg Warren School District Board of Trustees. We'd like to start this with an invocation. We're going to invite Pastor Christopher Lockridge to come up to the mic and bless this meeting for us, sir.
Amen. If we'll all bow in prayer, please. Dear God in heaven, we thank you for this day, oh God. This is the day that you've made, God. We rejoice and are glad in it. As we come before you, oh God, we thank you for everyone who's in attendance here, oh God. We pray that everything is done decent and in order. Pray for everyone who's here, oh God. I pray for those officials that are elected for the Vicksburg Warren School District, God. We ask that you grant them the wisdom and knowledge, oh God, to continue to do their job to the best of their abilities. I pray that your angels of grace and mercy would encamp around them, oh God, but not only them, their staff, all the faculty and staff of our school district, all the students that come out each day, oh God. We pray that they continue to strive to be the best that they can be, oh God, and follow every dream that they have in life, oh God. I pray, Father, we continue to seek you for wisdom, godly counseling, understanding, oh God, that your will, your way be done. We thank you, we give you honor, glory, and praise. It's in Jesus' name we thank you and we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Lockridge. Gentlemen, we need, you have in front of you the agenda. We need to have that adopted, please.
I'll make a motion, we adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Secretary, Mr. D1 there.
D1, board members, you have before you the minutes for the May 25th regular scheduled meeting and a special called meetings on May 23rd and May 31st of 2023. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to those minutes?
Mr. Secretary, or shall I say, Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
I do have a few questions on the special call board meeting on May 31st.
Okay. The 31st, you said?
Yes, sir, the 31st.
Okay.
And on the, it's going to
Everybody
be,
have it in front of them?
sir,
I'm just asking if everyone had it in front of them.
okay, yeah.
Yes, sir, go ahead, Mr. Sturgis.
Okay, thank you. I was reading the new pay for the superintendent, and before I get to I want to ask some questions before, and it may answer what I need, and then I can go along with what's going on. Have we received the release from Simpson County?
Who do we direct that question to? That's the,
It is board president and the attorney?
I do not know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I can get the answer to that question, but I do not know it at this time.
Okay. Is Dr. Holloway still the superintendent at Simpson County?
Again, I do not know the answer to that question. I'll have it by the end of the night.
Okay, and the reason why I asked that question, where we were in executive session, so we might need to take this to executive session because I have some follow-up questions with what I'm asking now. So if you would allow me to table this, Mr. President,
Yes, absolutely.
I'd like to make a motion, we table the approval of the minutes.
Got a motion and a second to table D1. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, we'll go to E1, and if you will give me a moment of privilege, I wanted to let the board know that our resolution in the name of Ken Grogan was deeply appreciated by his family, and Miss Ann wrote us a real nice thank you note. So I want y'all to know that that came to the board. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, going on this month, our principals have been spending the time making sure they're finishing up the year-end duties and attending some professional development. Some of them will be, have gone on vacation, some will be taking vacation next month. But also during that time between the 1st of June and now, we've continued with education. We've got a lot of summer programs that have rolled on, not only through the Vicksburg Warren School District, but in partnership with ERDIC. And so our kids are busy learning in the summer. Our feeding program is in full swing. A day or so when we had all the storm debris, we had to halt that, but we were right back to it as soon as everything got cleared. And we're excited about that opportunity for kids to have continued feeding all summer long through the district. I would like to say this is my last meeting before I retire. It doesn't seem like it's been 30 years in this profession, but it has. And it's been an honor to serve this community as assistant superintendent, as deputy superintendent, now as the interim superintendent. The past 10 years have been here, and they have flown by. As I reflect on the things that we have done, we have celebrated many successes, and I think those successes will continue as our district moves into a new chapter. I believe the board's decision of our new superintendent will continue to bring our continued success as he brings on his innovative ideas. And if you would allow me, Dr. Holloway is here tonight, I would like to give him the floor and let him say a few words.
Absolutely.
Dr. Holloway.
Come stand over here so the people online can hear you.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm grateful to you all for this opportunity. Thank you to the community for the warm welcome. I'm looking forward to working here and continuing the success that we've had, the innovative approach to what we do. We've already started looking at some things with SPED, our intermediate grades, and ways that we can carry the vision and support and sustain what's in place, because Mr. Campbell and Mr. Shealy have done some great things. It's our job to make sure those things are sustainable beyond my time and beyond your time on the board. So I've appreciated the reception and everybody being willing to work with me, and I'll make you proud of, continue to make this community proud of this school district. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's my report.
Okay. All right, at this time, we're going to have item E2. This is a resolution. I think Mr. Green is going to handle this one for us.
Good evening, school board. On June 15th, we had a dear member of the Warren Central High School family pass away. Miss Ladissa Hutchison was our special education lead teacher, had been there with us for 6 years, and was a tremendous asset for our school. And so the district has developed a resolution in her honor, and I would like to read that. The Board of Trustees of the Vicksburg Warren School District, in an effort to honor and memorialize a dedicated teacher and contributor to the children of Warren County, does hereby agree to adopt the following resolution. Whereas Ladissa Renee Hutchison departed life on June 15, 2023, after devoting 6 years of teaching to the children of Warren County, impacting the students of Warren Central High School as the lead special education teacher. And whereas Ms. Hutchison served as the music director at the First Pentecostal Church of Vicksburg. And whereas Ms. Hutchison graduated from Mississippi University of Women, where she received her Bachelor of Science degree, and Mississippi College, where she received her Master of Education degree. And whereas Ms. Hutchison touched the lives of hundreds of children with her passion for teaching and authentic caring for each and every student in her classroom and school, and her legacy of commitment and dedication has enriched those fortunate enough to know her with her work. And whereas Ms. Hutchison leaves behind her loving husband, Randall Hutchison, her beloved son, Drew Hutchison, and other family members, friends, students, and colleagues. And now therefore be it resolved that the Vicksburg Warren School District hereby honors the life and work of Ladissa Renee Hutchison, a dedicated teacher, and recognizes the valuable contributions she made to the well-being of her students and community. Further, that this resolution be presented to her husband, Randall Hutchison, and her entire family. Further, that this resolution be made a part of the minutes of the Vicksburg Warren School District. So ordered, this the 29th day of June, 2023. Thank you, school board.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
Make a motion, we adopt the agenda, the resolution for Ms. Hutchinson.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, we have our F1 bond project updates. Mark, can you lead us through that, please, sir?
Good evening, Mr. Campbell, board. Good to see you. I guess I haven't really been in person in a while, so good to be back in person. I'll be brief. As far as Vicksburg goes, that project, Vicksburg High School, is still in the warranty phase. As issues come up from time to time, we address those. The most recent one, there was an issue with a downspout boot and some erosion. Contractor has since been out there and made those corrections. Checked on them last week. They may have to come back and dress it up a little bit since those heavy rains did some undoing of their work. So we'll get them back out there. I believe Bomar, I was unable to talk to Jason before this meeting. He's been on vacation up in the mountains and not been really able to communicate with him very well. But I believe all we had were a couple administrative things he had to do with archives. But for all practical purposes, that project's complete, and I think we can put a bow on it. The last one, obviously, is Warren Central. Progress is continuing, slow as it may be. They are making some progress on the curtain wall. As a matter of fact, just 5 minutes before I stepped up here, I found out from them, they do have all the glass in their possession. They are making efforts to get the rest of that glass installed. They also have the aluminum in-house to do the curtain wall that goes in the front 3 sections. Those are being fabricated in their shop as we speak, and sometime, hopefully next week, you'll see that start going up. I suspect later in the week. We are dried in from the back, probably, I'd have to say at least 90% of the way, I would think. The last rains, I'm happy to report, didn't result in any water getting in anywhere in the band hall or any place like that, so that was positive. The gym, I'm also happy to report, it passed its overhead inspection. They passed the mechanical inspection, and so therefore the unit has been started up. They're trying to get the gym cooled. Once that runs for about 7 days, the flooring sub will bring his material in there. It'll have to acclimate for another 7 to 10 days, and they'll start their work. If all goes well, we will have it by the time school starts or soon thereafter. I do have, unless there's any questions, I do have a couple of action items to ask for your approval.
Any questions, gentlemen, on those 2 items?
So, do you want me to go over those?
Yeah.
The action items?
Yes, sir. All right. So the first one, excuse me, is change order number 33. It addresses a number of little wall issues. The job originally had a CMU wall inside the offices in B building to serve as that firewall between the Agora and B building. We thought it would be better, after looking at it, to switch that to gypboard, run it from floor to ceiling. Not only does it get you your fire rating, it covers up all that black rock, which we had already been approved, was in the job to paint. So it'll be gypboard, finished out. There's also a section, if you're going up the grand amphitheater seating area and stairs to your right-hand side, the band hall, upper section, I would say the top 8 to 10 feet, there's a steel beam and block that they did patch and have to patch, but it won't look very good. We want to put gypboard over that. So that change order results in an added cost of $19,601.80.
Mark,
Yes, sir.
may I ask you a question, please, sir?
Yes, sir.
First, I know this is an add-on, so it wasn't in the original contract on what you're doing now, correct?
Yes, some is an add, some is a change.
Did we get any credit for the change?
Yes, sir.
So, okay, so it's going to cover, you say it's going to cover a steel beam, and I don't know, because Brian and Mr. President knows better Warren Central than I, but the black rock you spoke of, it's going to cover that up, you said?
Yes, sir. It'll basically go along B building from floor to deck, the new metal decking, cover the black, and even the different color brick. If you remember, it was different than the other parts of the building. So it'll all be gypboard painted out the wall colors to match everything else.
So for the lack of folks who, like myself, don't know what a gypboard is, I want to say it's drywall, correct?
Drywall, sheet rock.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is pretty tall, right? I mean, this is,
Oh, goodness, yeah, 30, I think 32.
that's why it's so expensive. I'm
32,
just trying to figure out why
33
it's so
feet.
expensive, because
Well, and this is where the add part is. To build the firewall, I didn't have to do it over the entire length. We're saying, since we're doing that, let's cover up all that. And, you know, basically have two finishes in your Agora. You'll have brick, well, three, brick, block, or sheetrock.
And this is still within our budget?
Yes, sir. As of today, we still, if approved, your owner contingency in this project is right at $254,000.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay, do we want to take action on change order 33?
So moved, Jim Sturgis.
second.
Got a motion and a second to approve change order 33 in the amount of $19,601.80. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, change order 34.
Change order 34 is a little bit simpler. I think we did this in the gym. In the fixed bleacher area, we added a two-coat epoxy paint system to where the fixed bleachers are, give you a nice uniform gray. What I'm asking for here is the stairs that go along that amphitheater. Right now, it's just going to be sealed concrete. We're recommending or asking permission to switch that to the two-coat epoxy system.
So
That
it'll
match.
all match.
It'll all match.
Yes, sir. And then the other part of that is, in a room now that's in a building located between two labs, I think it was your old food lab and clothing lab. There's a small room in there that's had moisture problems apparently for quite some time. I think with what we've done with roofs and walls and whatnot, that's been fixed. What we'd like to do to fix that wall, rather than to tear out all the plaster and all the block, is put an Ardex over what's there. And Ardex is kind of almost like a plaster type finish. It'll give it a nice smooth finish, and that's $325
Mark,
for a grand total of $1,210 if you accept both.
Mark,
Yes, sir.
I'm not worried about the price this time, but was the wall already damaged?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And on the two coats, and again, I read this, so I don't know anything what I'm saying. There are three types of epoxy, is that what you call it?
Epoxy, yes, sir.
Yeah, there are three types. So are you going to use the pure, the polyester, or what type you're going to use?
I would have to pull the spec sheet, but I can get you that answer because we do have the specs.
Because one
on
is
it.
stronger than the other one from the way I read it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're going to use the cheaper version and give us the Rolls Royce price? Okay.
No,
I get you,
will-
brother.
I will send you the specs of what he priced.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. President.
All right, I get action on change order
Make a
34.
motion, we approve change order 34.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Be safe driving. All right, we have the financial report. Her final one. Look at her grinning from ear to ear.
It's bittersweet. All right, good evening.
Good evening.
This is the financial report.
And your final meeting.
Freudian slip there.
Freudian slip, yeah.
This is the financial report for our June board meeting. The statement of cash flow, the ending fund balance on the statement of revenue and expense does reconcile to the ending cash flow report balance for May. And as of May, the district maintenance estimated fund balance is $26,856,193.70. Our MAEP collections, the appropriation for March was $2,353,450. And this has remained constant throughout fiscal '23. In the past, we've had it fluctuate a little bit up and down, but this has remained consistent throughout the fiscal year. Our casino revenue, the March casino revenue was received in May this time, so that's why you see in your package, you see that the amount is doubled. We received, or 2 months of casino revenue. We received our April casino revenue on time. The March and April revenue totaled $132,362.15. Broken down, our March revenue was $71,467.79. And our April revenue, casino revenue, was $60,894.36. We have also received our casino revenue for May on time, and that amount will be given for the next board meeting, but we have received our revenue for May on time.
All right,
That concludes my financial report.
get a motion to accept the financial report.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the financial report read by the finance officer.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. All right, you have G2, bid results.
Okay, the bid results, the first one is our depository. It was RFP number 232405. You do have the tabulation sheet in your packet. I am requesting that, or we are requesting that the board approves Trustmark for all district accounts for 3 years with the current fixed rate of 1.5%.
Any discussion? Can we get an act on her recommendation, please?
Make a motion, we accept the Trustmark RFP for deposits for 3 years for 1.5%.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? All opposed, motion carries.
Okay, for our mats and uniforms, RFP number 23-24-03. Request that the board approves the bid results for mats and uniforms. Universe came in lower in 30 of 32 categories, and you have your tabulation sheets as well.
Okay, can I get action on that recommendation?
Were they overall the lowest then, even though they were?
Overall, yes,
I make a motion, we approve the bid for the uniform and mats from UniFirst.
Second.
Okay,
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
for our private healthcare services, RFP number 23-24-03. Request that the board approves both companies based upon their level of specialized services to support students with disabilities.
Real quickly, are they comparable in price? They seem to be.
The private healthcare, yeah, they're
Yep. Okay.
pretty
And
close,
okay.
yes.
I make a motion, we accept the bids, the recommendation for accepting both of the vendors for the RFP for healthcare services.
I got a motion and a second, all in favor? All opposed, motion carries.
Okay,
Is that all?
no. G3,
Okay, yeah, I mean, is that all of those? Okay.
no, I'm sorry, yeah,
G3,
for bid
please.
results, yes.
G3, please.
For the contract for our plumbing fixtures and install, you have the contract before you. The winner was Bruce King Plumbing Incorporated. And we request that you, approve the contract. in your packet.
Give me a little hit, this was one we awarded before, and
Yes.
Bruce King won it or didn't win it?
He did. He won
Okay,
the bid.
not the first time.
Yes, first time too. We rebid it.
Okay. And why did we rebid it again, refresh on
Because
that?
the first time, I believe one of the vendors came in, or I think Bruce King came in lower, but we went back because of some
No, actually, I think what actually happened is Bruce was second, and the first
First
guy said he couldn't do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Couldn't deliver on time, that's right.
That's
Okay.
right, that's right.
All right.
I had one that,
I make a
Thanks,
motion
Mary,
to
but that's correct.
accept the bid for, by Bruce King for the plumbing fixture install.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, G4.
yes, for our FY '22 audit update, we did receive the draft of the audit. We have not cleared the federal audit clearinghouse as of yet. We're still waiting, but we did receive an unmodified opinion. But again, we're still waiting for that to be final. We have not received the final copy of that as of yet, so
No major finding.
no major findings.
So that's for information only right there?
Information
Okay.
only.
All right, so what about G5?
Okay. You have in your packet the workers' comp renewal that we're requesting to be signed for the FY '23-24 school year.
And you mentioned earlier in our hearing that this was higher.
Our
substantially.
property insurance did increase quite a bit because those buildings are substantially complete. And the appraisal value is on those buildings, so the addition of that was about $271K. Our cyber insurance did go down a little bit, but again, that property insurance, the property premiums did go up.
Okay, can I get board action on the approval of the workman's comp renewal?
Make a motion, we approve the workers' comp renewal.
And a second, please.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second to approve the workers' comp renewal. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
And G6.
All right, this is for our security bid, RFP number 23-24-02. We are requesting permission to re-advertise for the security service for the school year 23-24 due to the specs not clearly conveyed to the vendors, the prospective vendors. So to be fair, we want to go out to re-advertise again. And furthermore, we want to change the contract term from 3 years to 1 year, contingent on the performance.
So I'm confused about that. Is it a 3-year contract with 1-year contingency option years, or is it?
Well, initially, the bid was out for 3 years. We did put the advertisement out for 3 years, but now we want to change that to 1 year.
I don't understand contingent on performance. And let me.
If the vendor does perform well for that first year, in terms of our security, meeting our needs for the security,
So
then we will continue with their service.
So it will be more, in essence, it's a 3-year contract with one.
Well, we can word it that way,
Because I mean,
again, we will with the
so how many years
contingency
are
of
you
1
gonna
year.
re-award it to them on performance?
1.
1 year,
A year at a time, though,
a
right?
year at
Yeah.
a time, yeah,
So-
up to 3 years.
Will
Then
they
that's a
have-
3-year contract with 1-year options, because in contract world, you award you could decide a year in that I'm not gonna award you your second year
That's right.
based on performance.
That's right.
So then you could go back out and bid it again. But you need to have an ending term that you're only gonna do that for so many years. So that would be a 3-year, it's technically a 3-year contract with 1-year options, and we reserve the right at the end of each year to award the next year's option
Right.
based on your performance.
And it will be worded that way, we
Okay,
just want
okay.
to make sure that we get that in there.
Okay,
But they will not have the ability to renegotiate price every year, correct?
We can put that in there as well.
I mean, I'm just thinking, if we get them in,
Yeah, we can lock in that price at, I would think that would be fair to lock in the price, it's just that the performance is what we're trying to,
sure.
do the option on.
Ms. Lewis,
Yes,
under the old security bid
yes.
that was out there, how many security companies applied?
The recent, the one we
Yes, ma'am.
just did,
Yes, ma'am.
3.
Okay, of those three, did any completely the bid? If that makes sense, what I'm trying to say.
The
Did they do 100?
requirements
Did
of
they
the
get
bid?
100? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, how many got 100? Because you say some persons did not understand what it was and the reason why you want to rebid. But there were some who actually did everything that was asked of them, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
How many?
One,
Just one?
just one.
Okay. My next question is, with that one, if you put a bid out there and one person did everything you wanted to do, what the bid stated, I'm
Well,
confused.
for that vendor, the price came in too high.
Okay, what is high? Is there a high is there a set limit that you can only charge this much?
There's not a set, we did not set a limit, but again, the price was too high, you know.
So what is too high for the cost of saving kids?
So let me,
What is too high for this cost of saving kids? Please answer my question before you go to another question.
You're asking me, I'm sorry.
There is no price that is.
Thank you. So if you tell me that there is no limit to high, how can you say the bid was too high? That's all I'm asking.
So,
Well,
can I interject?
we-
Mr.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Was their understanding of the specs of the contract what caused them to be extremely high? Was it their understanding of it?
They understood, I mean, it was, you know, we have insurance I mean, that they put that insurance cost in there, which is, you know, something that needs to be in because we do not accept that liability on them, on their workers.
So is insurance cost is the reason why?
The
It
insurance
was too
cost
high?
and the art, because it was a reverse auction as well, the cost kind of was higher because of that as well.
So do we pay the insurance or the?
No, they pay the vendor, they are responsible for their workers in terms of insurance.
Okay, so the one that completed, and I'm just asking, one that totally completed, did they have the correct amount of insurance that you're speaking of?
They had their insurance papers, they did have the liability packet in their packet, so.
Yes,
they
ma'am.
had-
so I think what you're hitting on, Jim, and I'm kind of right there with you, is has Briggs or the attorney,
We've talked to, yeah, we've
has he
talked to
approved
Briggs
that
as
this is
well.
a legal, I think what you're saying is, if someone completed the bid properly, why are you not selecting them,
They too high.
right? The other one is is that if there was material information that, because of how we presented it, that it
That's true.
was not understood correctly, and it's our fault for our communication,
Specs.
that it can be legally supported to not accept the bid he's done correctly. We need to make sure it's done legally. We don't want to be rebidding something and not have legal grounds to rebid it, is what you're saying.
We are in.
So-
And we did talk with Briggs on the decision. Again, the decision is up to the board, but on what you want to do. But we did talk with him, and we are within our rights to do this.
If we had brought you something, we would have brought you a bid that was multiple dollars higher than the other two bids.
Kind of break that down to me. I'm serious. I don't understand what you're
So
saying.
is that a lot higher than what we're currently paying? Are all the bids higher than what we're paying now?
I have no clue. This is all, I just
Yeah, I'm just asking.
Yes.
Okay.
So is the cost of eggs and bread.
Yep. So,
And we do have the opportunity of another board meeting. Y'all have an opportunity.
Thank you, David.
In order to
Keep the ball
have,
down the road.
Someone in place for August.
so could we approve this contingent on the review, the verification from the attorney that it's appropriate to redo this? Because I'm kind of like you. If I want to rebid this and not select the one that did it correctly, then I want to make sure that we've dotted our i's and crossed our t's.
Well, that was one of the first questions I asked, and we talked to Briggs.
And this will be a second.
Yes, you can, or you can make whatever motion you want.
Make a motion, we do it. I make the motion that we resend it out.
I second.
That we rebid.
The rebid. I second it.
All right, got a motion and a second to rebid the security bid, RFP 23-2402. All in favor?
Sturgis, opposed.
Okay, so I've got, all right. All right, so the nays are Mr. Sturgis. All right, so that motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Lewis.
Thank you.
For everything you've done, by the way.
Thank you.
We'll take a breath right here. We're about to go into proposed consent agenda items. If there's anyone in the audience that needs to leave at this time, y'all can boogie out, and then we'll give y'all just a breath to do that. If not, we're going to continue on. Well, there he goes. I knew I'd have
No,
one
you
taker.
didn't do that to him.
All right, so we'll move on now to our proposed consent agenda items. Are there any items to be pulled?
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
Go ahead, Mr. Sturgis.
Because we have some additions, please let me go with, make sure I'd like to pull a J1 because I have an old one and a new one and I'm gonna forget J1. But what you pull, I'll go back in order now. I'll go back in order, but I want J1 pulled too, because I will forget it. Under H, would you please pull H8, 11, 22, 28, 29, 31. And you did the J1 for me. Thank you, Mr. President.
Is that all?
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
Make a motion.
One second. Coach, you need to pull anything? I'm going to pull H14 and J3.
H14 and J3.
Yeah.
J3. Okay.
Okay, is that all? I get that, everybody? We can
Yep.
get an action on the
That's the
I make a
remaining?
motion, we approve the consent agenda with the exclusion of H8, H11, H14, H22, H29, 28, 29, 31, J1, and J3.
That matches my audit. Got a motion and a second, all in favor? All opposed, motion carries. All right, H8, Mr. Sturgis.
H, thank you, Mr. President. Let me get to it here, out of my executive box. That's 9. That's 7. Okay. On H8, under child nutrition with the summer feeding program, unless you all have it, do y'all have how much, what the additional pay is?
I do not.
No, I just had the individuals.
Ms. Bounds, are you on here?
I am.
Can you address Mr. Sturgis and let us know what these people will be paid?
Yes, sir. The additional pay was added to those staff members that wanted to join the child nutrition department during the summer feeding, since we're feeding from buses.
So was it their normal pay, just expanded across this time, or what's the dollar amount? Do you
Or how
know
many
that?
hours?
Or how many hours?
We have one working at 12:50 and one working at 13. They're doing 2 different jobs. We have one in the office and one out on the buses and in the kitchen.
Gotcha. There's 4 on the list. Are all 4 working?
I'm sorry, there's 2 out in the kitchens. We have one at Beechwood and we have one at Dana Road. And then we have one in the office and we had one doing some tech support.
So
that was in and out of the office.
Let me put my
Because
Jim
we were
hat on.
having to maintain the Google Sheet
How much is all
that
this
is providing us
costing?
our rosters.
How much is all this costing? Because we have no hours, we really don't care, the individual people's fine, but there needs to be a cost associated with these additional people working. It's gonna be X number of hours. Do we have an idea total for the summer program with these additional 4 people working that you're asking us to approve? $200, or are you asking us to approve $10,000?
It's probably gonna end up being over $1,000 a piece, except for maybe one.
Well, I individually don't care. I think we're
I can
just
get
need
y'all
to-
that information.
Yeah,
I mean, but it is based off their hours.
Okay. That answer your question, Mr. Sturgis?
No, sir.
Do we want to come back on this one?
Maybe I can make a motion, Mr. President. Once you, if you don't mind, I'd love for you to get the information and just disseminate it
I will.
to
Ms.
us,
Bounds, will you
please.
get that information to me, just our total cost on that one item, please?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay. With that, then, I'd like to make a motion, we approve it with the information of the cost to the president, and he disseminating it to all of the board members.
second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on H8. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Bounds. All right.
Yes, sir.
H11, Mr. Sturgis?
Yes, sir. First of all, let me say, this is awesome. H11 is. My question is, I see they're celebrating, are they in school right now? I see they're celebrating the accomplishments of our students, and I'm not worried about the cost, $75, that's not, but I'm seeing the bus activity, so are they celebrating last year's? Are they doing like, oh, it's last year's?
Last year, yes, sir.
Okay.
So instead of our awards day at the end of the year, we celebrate at the beginning to allow the entire student body to celebrate together and for the incoming freshmen to see the values that we uphold.
So these are like juniors and sophomores or whatever, that's coming up. I mean, that's already there. Okay. Thank you, sir. I'd like to make a motion, we approve H11, please.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve H11. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. I pulled H14 for information. I just pulled the first one out of the list. We're approving a lot of money tonight for these educational programs that are assigned to each of these different schools. I wanted to kind of give the board and the public an idea. When you start reading these information packets, it's saying we're going to pay somebody $1,200 a day for 40 days or $1,300 a day for 30 days. So my question was, when are those 30 days happening? So I got the information today that those are actually individual coaches that go to each of the classrooms within these schools and do hands-on teaching with an individual teacher. And they may do a third of a day with one teacher, a third of a day with another, or whatever, a half a day, but their total payout is based on a 40 or 30 or whatever the contract says. So my question was, are our teachers sitting there for 30 days listening to somebody run their mouth? And the answer is absolutely not. And so it's a very cool thing that these coaches that are well-trained are in the classroom with the kids, helping them teach their kids. They learn the nuances of the children, they learn everything about the children, and that's why we're approving all of this money tonight for all these individual educational programs and the consultants to do that work within all these different schools. I was confused about it. I've got an answer, and I wanted everybody else to not be as confused as me. So with that, I make a motion that we approve H14.
Second, Sturgis.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. H22, Mr. Sturgis.
Page 22. Okay, H22 is kind of commingling with what you just said, Mr. President, on a professional development. And I was wondering how curriculum and the professional development, because we, at the end of our last meeting, a meeting before, whatever, I can't, maybe 2 meetings ago, we were talking about professional development and curriculum. So tell me how this, first of all, does it commingle with professional development that we pay for, that the money will be running out, so we probably won't have any more friends? Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Members of the board, to answer your question, Mr. Sturgis, yes, it does commingle.
Okay.
Since I've been in this position, I've heard you ask, what are we gonna do when the ESSER money runs out? I appreciate you being a steward of the funds. And in this last round of ESSER money, I went to Ms. Hills and I asked her, I said, Ms. Hills, what could we do that could best serve the district to get us a longer return on this last round of ESSER money? So her and I, we worked together and we realized that we could purchase textbooks through the ESSER spending. Now, we have 1 year of ESSER remaining. And by purchasing all of the curriculums, all of the grades, a textbook, not only do we get the benefit of the book, we get the professional development, the resources, and we have what's called a 5-year subscription. So that gives you a good ROI, which I know you like. So that was the purpose with these particular books. So every subject, especially those tested areas, we went and we purchased physical textbooks. This will allow us to build that capacity of the teachers, to have this software long after the ESSER money is run out. They will have this for 5 years. Now, in terms of the commingling, it is probably going to take the curriculum department to roll out how to use these. And a lot of times there's some training in which the consultants come in and they sort of kind of blend. And in most cases, we all work together. But the curriculum department will have to lead the efforts on how to utilize these resources because they're property of Vicksburg School District and they don't have the access. So you get that is the rift. So we do commingle. And a lot of times in great situations, the consultant works alongside the curriculum specialist and they marry and they work together and they just do what's in the best interest of children. But yes, that is what this is for. And like I said, I've heard you ask that question several times, so I'm glad to say today that I can give you a good answer I think that you would like.
Thank you, ma'am.
We will be able to sustain it for 5 to 7 years. All of the state frameworks are such that they will be valid for the next 10 years. So this will give us a lot of stay. And I just want to thank Ms. Hills for always being willing to help me find this money. And that was it with all of the books that you see. I hope I answered your question, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. That's all I have, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion we approve H22, please.
Motion to second to approve H22. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. H28.
28. Do we have a not to succeed on this, or is this the amount, the actual amount on
I think it says, Jim, if I'm reading this right,
okay,
that it's between, depending on what each person's rates is,
yes, sir.
that's why they're saying it's 274 to 347 a day, based on what that person currently is making, if I'm reading that right.
And
10 days, not to exceed 10 days.
so, let me throw a caveat in there if I may. So, we know what Brian Pratt, he's gonna make 274, and Coach Stevens will make 347. So you could give me a figure on how much this total would be, correct?
Well, it says not to exceed, and I would assume that maybe everybody's not gonna work the total 10 days.
You're right, but what I'm saying is, you know,
just say
10 days at
everybody
247,
works 10 days.
10 days at 340,
347,
yeah. So, right, so I get that,
So
but
it's
I'm,
$1,000 swing on
right,
that.
and I was just saying a total. Do you know,
Swag,
kind
yeah.
of know what the total is gonna be?
Yeah,
Do we
it
know?
doesn't say. Could we get that information?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Hill's here.
I'm here.
There she is, hiding in the back.
Do you have that information, or would you need to get that information? If
I
you
just
have
kind of
the
like to
data-
know,
At most, it will be $31,230.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve H28, please.
Second.
See how easy that was? All you had to do is give him a number.
Just throw a number out there. That sounds good.
All in favor? All opposed, motion carries.
Oh, that was good, Mr. President.
All right, so H29.
Yes, sir. Ms. Hill, I was trying to read the fine print without my glasses and without my contacts and with my contacts and with my glasses, and I still couldn't read it. So on this proposed budget, could you tell me what the total is, please?
The total for all of it, we have several titles,
Yes, ma'am.
it's like 4.7 million.
Which goes in different directions with the, when you say you have different places it goes in. Yes, ma'am. Okay, that's what I was really trying to read it, but I can't see it.
I can't read it either, Jim.
Oh, okay.
Pretty small font.
What
Okay,
page is that
I was
down
gonna
to?
cite it for old age. With that, I'd like to, thank you, Ms. Hill. I'd like to make a motion, we approve H29, please.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? All opposed, motion carries. H31.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. 31. Okay. I just wanted, because I had a conversation, she's doctor, right?
Yes.
Dr. McCann, last time, I think this is the same people, so I just want to ask, so you won't have to come back, and then you have to come back again. I want to make sure we get everything one time, this time, to ease my, how much was the last, is this the same, are these the same people, and are they doing the same thing they did last time? And how much was I think last year's wasn't 94,000, but maybe they're doing more this year than they did last year. Did I asked one question about one thing with
Dr.
20.
McCann, can you compare this contract to last year's contract?
No, I think he's asking, what we just.
Yes,
approved.
sir, I'm here, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I think Jim's question though is, correct me if I'm wrong, we just approved some professional development for them last meeting. Is that what you're referring to?
It's like a couple meetings back.
Yeah, so is this addition to what we already approved? Has it overlapping? Is it anything to do with what we already approved? And how much is it?
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay, so yes, this is the same company that we did use before. We had to bring it back, we had to bring it again this month for the 23-24 school year, since June, of course, ends our, June 30th ends our fiscal year. So we kind of got a jump start on stuff we were working with in June, but we will continue that work on for the rest of this school year. So yes, they will be doing some of the same work that we have already started, and that will continue on into next school year. I did not request as many days last school year. I think as I spoke last month, I explained that I just wasn't really sure, how many days we were going to need, and we had someone working with our younger grade teachers. And so now that we've kind of gotten the nuances of all that and figured that out, we are requesting more days than what we initially requested last year. And hopefully we will not have to come back, because this should be sufficient to cover us through June of next year.
Okay, Dr. McCann, can you tell me that, and since this one was pulled, I pulled one, kind of explain to the public what this is about. If you do not use all 64 days, do you pay for all 64 days?
Yes.
No, sir, I do not believe if we do not use all of those days, then we will not be invoiced for the days that were not, that the consultants did not actually work.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Doc, okay, so, last year, how many, can you remember or give me an approximate of how many days you used? Give or take, just give or take, you don't have to be exact, it's nothing concrete.
I want to say it ended up around 54, 52, 50, somewhere in there. I think the initial, we asked maybe for 24 apiece, and Ms. Hills I know she's there, and she may remember, because she looks over all this with a fine tooth comb as well, but it was somewhere around there.
Ms. Hill,
And
can you answer that?
Okay.
if I'm remembering correctly.
48?
48
That's what
days
was
left.
used
Okay,
last time?
That's total, including what we asked in additional?
Correct, including the additional days that were just added at the last meeting.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And that total, and I'm going on memory, it was around 62,000 with the extension, is that
See,
right?
right, so that's what I'm looking at, 62 to 94.
Yes,
For
sir, that is
16
correct.
days.
But we did, like I said, we did add days
60.
this year so that we could utilize the consultants for a few more days than what we did last year, and the consultant that was working with our younger teachers that teach our younger students would have more days with them because we really didn't have enough days with her last year.
So $32,000 for 16 days. Wow. And everybody complains that we need a smaller government. Wow. Okay. Doesn't make sense for 16 days for 32,000, but I guess if it's helping and for the kids, it's all about the kids. I'm just pretty tight on money, being an ex-banker, so I understand. If nothing else, I understand money. I may not understand anything else, but I understand that they're just a little bit stiff in my pocket. So with that, Mr. President, I will reluctantly make a motion that we approve H31.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve H31, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Dr. McCann, and thank you, Ms. Hill.
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right, we are rolling on to J1 has been pulled. Mr. Sturgis,
Oh, I'm J1?
you are J1.
J1. Oh, J1 must be over, that's the new one, right?
It's the revised one, it's been updated.
Yes, sir, you're right. J1. Oh, I would like to, because it's going to be a personnel question, I would like to table this, take it into executive session, sir, please.
So I have a motion to table J1 to executive session.
Second.
Got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. And my last pull is J3. This is a simple question for our council. What this is this is an agreement to use in-district subs, substitute teachers as opposed, while they're waiting for their license, and we're going to give them a 45-day window to get a license, and they can be a substitute teacher during that time. We currently have a contract with Kelly Services to provide subs, and I just want council to let us know that we're not in breach of anything in that contract with Kelly if we're letting people step in, and you follow where I'm getting with that. We'd just like to know that, and I will make a motion to approve J3 contingent upon council's review.
Second, Sturgis.
All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. All right, so now we are down to our K items. K1, I guess, is that you, Dr. E?
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
Last month, board members brought before you the suggested changes from the MSBA for the legislative session on our policies. And for this month, we will have to take action on those. But I want to draw your attention to policy CNA, GBEN, GBEO. Those policies deal with the Mississippi School Safety Guardian Act, and under this act where boards may designate employees for armed guardians in the district. So if you see the highlighted information from MSBA, it says, do not adopt this policy unless we're gonna put that in place. So those three policies that I mentioned to you all deal or center around that guardian law or act.
So you're asking us to, if we approve that, it will involve that. And I believe we all have SROs in our district, and I don't think at this time.
I make a motion that we do not
A second.
accept that.
Yes, and yes, sir, and that was going to be my recommendation. If we approve those approve all with the exception of C and A, GBEN, and GBEO.
Will that be your motion? To approve the other ones, accept that one? Second.
All right, so the motion, I got a motion and a second to accept the policy changes with the exception of C and A, GBEN, and GBEO, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Which is in effectively not adopting the policy.
Guardian policy.
The Guardian policy to allow firearms in our district.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay? What is next on this? We've got let's see, transportation, EV charger bid rejection. Whose camp is that in? Ms. Taylor, are you on?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about the EV stations bid rejection?
Yes, sir. We sent we sent it out for bid and they all came in overpriced. So I would like to reject all, the bids, please.
Okay, can you explain to the board what is overpriced?
Okay, so if you see in front of you, there's a tally sheet. I think the highest one was maybe 260 some $1,000. The EPA granted us $166,000 for infrastructure and the chargers. So we being the district would have to come up with the remaining amount, and that would be needed up front to get the project started. And so there's another way to get it done, and I would like to reject those bids.
So give us a little more information on the other way. Is it bidding?
The other way, well, that goes into the next one, and it's going with energy. Energy has a make ready program, quote unquote turnkey. We can lease to own for 5 years, where the price is $211,288. That's a deficit of $45,000, which is a little bit over $9,000 over 5 years. Where energy will cover from the pole, the transformer, the conduit, laying everything, the chargers, installing the chargers, and maintenance.
Wow, okay. So we got free everything and it's costing us money.
Yes.
Yes, sir, inflation.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, so board, what's your pleasure on rejecting these bids?
I make a motion that we reject first of the bids on that.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to reject the bids on the EV charging stations. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, you're still on deck here, Ms. Ms. Taylor, we got the Secure Energy for Electrification Bus Project. Now, what are we doing here?
That's what I was just speaking about. We would get energy to lease to own 5 years, where they are responsible for everything. For, like I said, from the pole to the ground. And just say a natural disaster happens and it wipes the charger systems out. We'll just call energy, because that's part of their maintenance plan. It takes the responsibility off of us, the school district, and that would be energy.
So let me ask you a question. If
Yes,
we were
sir.
to buy this and spend with these other bids we just rejected, are they still going to allow us to take the $160,000 and spend it over 5 years? Normally, when you get something like this as a grant, you get the grant and you spend it. I mean, we're going to be spending it for a lease, not a purchase over 5 years. Is that legal?
I can't answer that question. Has that been looked into, Ms. Taylor?
I mean,
Yes, sir. It is legal. We will take the $166,000, put it in an account, and we will pay energy out of that account every month.
but the amount is more than $160,000, right?
Yes, sir. So that $9,057.60 will come out of my budget over the 5 years.
every year.
Yes, sir.
So the total spent on these charging stations will be $226,269.
269.
And what was it? What was the cheapest bid that we just rejected?
250.
250.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But one thing that I'm seeing is Entergy covering the maintenance and repair of these holes. That's
Which is
huge.
not included in
Right.
the other option.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
One question, please. Ma'am, is it the same amount of poles that we rejected that Entergy will put in?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so everything remains constant? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
All right, so what do we do about the overage? Do we have to approve, is that going to be a budget item, or is that
Yeah,
already?
she'll
in the
have to budget it. won't she?
So we can approve it now contingent upon a budget increase for that, I suppose?
Yes. We'll have to put that in our projection.
Or you'll have to,
Next budget goes
she'll either have to, it'll either be an increase or she'll have to cut something else. We'll either have to cut something else or,
Right.
I would suggest cutting something else.
Okay, well, I guess the actual motion needs to be, we can approve the Entergy deal contingent upon a budget increase in the transportation department to cover the overage. Does that sound reasonable?
Ms. Taylor,
Yes, sir.
will we be, with your budget be, as you projected, would it need an increase every year? In toward dealing with the energy part? You follow me?
I'm not really sure.
Well, also, the question would be, we should be, since they're paying for everything, like Jim said before, it's supposed to all be free. Are we receiving enough savings in the year that we would have used a bus to drive that was diesel powered, that now will, that savings would help offset this?
I would imagine so, yes, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Can we leave it static then, and then maybe at the end of this FY, if you need more money, we can visit it then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, let's just approve it as is then, if I can get action from the board, and then we'll,
I make a motion, we approve the Entergy quote for providing electrical charging stations.
Second.
motion and a second, all in favor? All opposed, motion carries. One more question, did they say when they could do this?
No, sir. I will have to get in touch with them tomorrow and let them know it was approved so they can get started.
Good deal, okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, so we are now down to 16th section. And you're back.
Okay, first thing we have is just the late and upcoming payments. So you have your report for the lease for the month of June. If you have any question, do you have any questions on that first?
Any questions, gentlemen?
So no one's late?
Not yet. There is a window. You see in your packet, most of them are July 1. We're receiving some of those, but they still have a grace period even after that. So we will be tracking that.
Okay.
Okay, no action required on that, so what's your next item?
The opening of the hunting and fishing bids, so I'll yield to our attorney.
Good evening, Board. We do have some bids for hunting and fishing lease, Section 16, Township 15 North, Range 5 East. We have a bid from Paradise Farms, I believe I'm reading that right, for the amount of $10,200.
Is that a full section, do you know?
I believe it's 220 something acres,
Okay.
so not 226 acres.
So that was 1615,
1615.5.
1615.5.
okay.
The bid does appear to be in order. We have a bid from Gulf Coast Hunting Club, which I believe the current lessee, for $5,050. And the bid does appear to be in order.
Mr. President,
I'm sorry?
current leasehold is going to match the high bid to no other bid.
Okay, you can deal with that man right there.
Is that the last one?
We have
Okay.
one final bid. We do have a bid from Central Mississippi Land Company LLC for the amount of $10,200, and the bid does appear to be in order. I would recommend that they accept the highest bid, subject to the right of the leaseholder to match that high bid, which he has now declared that he's willing to do.
Match it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So Gulf Coast Hunting is the current leasee?
That is correct.
Correct.
Because with them wanting to match the current, the high bid, I would recommend the lease be awarded to Gulf Coast Hunting Club, LLC.
I make a motion that we accept Gulf Coast Hunting Club's matched bid for 1615.5 East for $10,200.
Second.
Question, Mr. President. I just want to make sure I'm following this motion. There are two parties, and they were outbidded, but they're on the property right now, so they're willing to up the price to what the other party, the $10,200.
Right.
The difference from what they bidded and the percent that they have to come up with, will they write a check for what the difference is? You understand what I'm saying?
You're talking about like for the down payment?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
What are they
sir.
required to do?
They have 10 days to provide the amount to match the high
Okay.
bid.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that answers my question. Thank you very much.
Yes, motion.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Is that our only bid?
Yes.
I believe so.
I mean, our only property, I'm sorry. Okay, what is the amendment of renewal to the right-of-way easement? Is that
Yes,
you?
we're just requesting that you approve, I guess, the renewal of that bid. Now, the date's wrong. It says October 23, 2022, so we'll get that corrected.
So we normally do this right-of-way easement for 25 years?
Yes.
That seems like too much.
Well, this isn't a power company, is it?
No, it's not. This is an area that he uses to get to some of his agricultural land.
Is it legal to do 25 years for that?
I'm sorry.
So this is a renewal of a right-of-way easement lease on a piece of property, and it's for 25 years. I would think that if we're not able to lease farmland for only a certain amount of time, we wouldn't be able to renew a lease for a right-of-way for any longer than we're able to lease the property for use for.
Because you got to reappraise it and the
Yeah.
whole works and
Is that
used
right?
to have those
Now,
99
I know for
year
utilities,
leases.
it might be different. I know for energy and for gas companies, because they have to invest in that infrastructure that's there, that they, they're not going into business tomorrow.
1618-4.
Is that normal? When does it expire?
25 years from now.
No, when is it? He's got a lease now. No, he's got a lease now.
Yes,
You're asking us to renew it.
that's right.
How long was the previous lease for?
The same.
That was, Brian, that probably when they were doing those 99-year leases back in the day. So you're correct in what you're saying, is that the new leases now are not as long as they've been.
I know for utilities, we get to have a long lease, but I don't think we get to do a 25-year lease for individual right-of-ways.
I'd have to look into that. I'm not
So
sure.
the reason I ask is, when does his current lease expire? October,
Yeah,
I assume this
23rd.
current lease expires in October.
And I'll confirm that, because that's
Well,
gone.
this says this lease will begin October 30th of 2022. This is 2023.
Yeah, again, that's a typo, we'll get that corrected.
So we got till October to fix this, right?
If that's correct, that's what I'm saying, I need to make sure that that is accurate, because apparently it was, if it is 22, then it was not renewed at that point. But we'll get that.
Can we table this, or we don't, no action?
Make a motion to table it.
Second, yeah.
Till we get,
The act.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second. Did I hear a second?
Yep.
Motion and a second to table L3, the renewal of a right-of-way easement. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, timber sale bid acceptance.
That's right. SWS Veneer and Timber won the bid on the timber sale. This is just for the, a recommendation that you approve the offer. SWS Veneer will furnish a satisfactory performance bond in the amount of 5%, not to exceed $5,000 of the bid amount within 30 days from the receipt of notice of acceptance of the bid.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Sure.
How much would,
What's that? I'm sorry.
how much was it?
I'll get that to you. I don't have it, but I'll get that for you as well.
I don't know that we can approve a bid, we don't know how much it was. Do we have were they the only person that bid?
Yes.
And
Mr. Rett, the forestry commissioner,
the forestry
opened the
commissioner
bid.
approved it? or-
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah, that's in your, that's the
I don't see it
recommendation
in
of
my,
Casey.
my stuff.
Yeah, there's not an amount associated with it.
Or anything from the forestry commission in here. There's one page, it just says, recommend that Casey Reddick, the board approve the offer. This is recommended by Casey Reddick that the board approve an offer from Veneer and Timber LLC. Will furnish satisfactory performance bond amount of 5% and within 30 days.
We'll get additional information in there to you.
So the forester has approved this.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion, we approve it pending we are provided additional information related to the bid price.
Got a motion and a second. Do I have a second? Okay. A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, so you did.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Close this out and get us into executive session.
Make a motion, we go into closed session to determine the agenda for executive session.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.